Hi, friends. I'm Emily Lay, and you're listening to the Simplified podcast. If you're looking to simplify your life and organize your home, then you are in the right place. Every week, I invite you to explore practical ways to organize and automate the complicated parts of life so you can focus on what truly matters most. The holidays are here again, and we made you a little holiday capsule collection to help make the season a little merry and bright. We have a couple sweatshirts you're going to love. They're silky soft, lightweight, and absolutely perfect for lounging at home or wearing with jeans on some festive errands. We also have a couple of cute mugs for your morning coffee or nighttime cocoa. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the Nutcracker mug till June, and I'm really not sorry about it. You can shop this limited edition holiday capsule collection right now over at emilylay.com. Well, you guys, here we are. The holidays are here again, and this time I'm pretty excited about it. A big reason for that is because, hello, I love the holidays, but also I love the posture we're taking over here at Simplified this time of year. Team Simplified has been thinking about all the ways to simplify the season this year, and it's the perfect mantra for me. I don't want to do all the things, just the things that bring me and my family joy. And that includes hosting my family for the holidays. There's a lot of things I'm good at when it comes to hosting. Y'all know I can set a mean table, and I'm great at printing out conversation starters for everyone and thinking about what we might need to round out the meal. However, I am not so good at remembering the timing of all the recipes I need to make. When does the stuffing go in? Before or after the Sister Schubert rolls? And sometimes I need help to remember, I need to wash the linens now so I don't have to later. And I definitely need to pick up some more parchment paper so we don't run out. Not everybody is good at every part of hosting, and that's okay. It's a big job, and nobody does it 100% perfectly, even Martha and Ina. But if you're hosting for the holidays this year, you may want to dust off the cobwebs on your hosting checklist. Consider today's episode a quick refresher on things to do so you can get ready to host a lovely gathering for your people, whether you're doing Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving or a cookie swap or something similar. For our purposes today, this is geared toward a traditional Thanksgiving with a turkey and all the fixings, but we'll talk about all sorts of things to make your gathering simple and fun. Oh, and P.S., this is the time where I say to you, I'm about to give you an ultimate checklist. That means there's going to be a lot on there. Do you have to do all the things to be a good host? Absolutely not. Do you have to do them the way I suggest? Of course not. This list is just a tool. Use what's helpful, throw away what isn't. So these are the things you can do today. Clear the clutter in the kitchen and dining areas and wash your linens now. Make your life easier by clearing out a big space in the fridge to store dishes and leftovers. Throw any tablecloths and napkins for the big day into the wash so they're fresh for the big day. And don't feel like you have to go cleaning crazy. Like my mom says, just tidy up the places where people will be hanging out the most. Ask for dietary preferences now. It's just the polite thing to do, especially if you have new guests who are coming to your gathering this year. That way, even if they bring their own dish, you can have a stash of gluten-free rolls on the side or a vegan pumpkin pie on the dessert table. It doesn't take a lot of extra effort for someone to feel seen and loved at the table. Figure out how much protein and how many beverages each person might need. My mom is a master at this, and here's what she does. Take the number of people coming to your gathering and multiply it by 1.5. For example, if you have 10 people coming to Thanksgiving, then you need a 15-pound turkey, but get a bigger one if you want leftovers. If you're short on time or cares, place an order to outsource the meal. Do you know who makes a good turkey? Honey baked ham. Yes, I can hear the irony, but for real, they do. And if you don't feel comfortable making a whole turkey by yourself, or you just ran out of time, or you don't want to, do not hesitate to go to Honey Baked Ham, your local grocery store, or a favorite restaurant to see what their catering options are for the holidays. Seriously, nobody cares. And if they do, then they can cook the meal. Ask folks to bring something and be specific. I cannot stress this enough. If you don't want to do all the holiday cooking by yourself, you don't have to. Tell folks what you are providing for the meal and ask them to bring something general, a side dish, a drink, a dessert, and be specific as you want. Tell them they need to bring a serving spoon. Trust me, it never hurts. Tell them to make the dish beforehand and that you'll have a space to keep their dish warm. Side note, my mom wraps things in kitchen towels and puts them in a cooler. It works like a charm. Or if their dish needs the fridge, you won't have to sweat because you cleared space out already for these kinds of things before the big day. My main thought for you here is this. The kitchen isn't for heavy-duty cooking for guest dishes, just for reheating and simple prep, like chopping up some herbs to sprinkle on top of a dish. That way, the kitchen stays more calm on the big day. Now let's talk about things to do a few days before the big day. First, thaw out your turkey 3 to 4 days before you plan to cook it. Seriously, this is a big one. It takes about 8 hours a pound for a turkey to thaw out. Just place it on a sheet pan in the fridge and let it do its thing. Also, make your life easy on yourself by printing out all the recipes you plan to cook, or open all the recipes on a single browser on an iPad. You'll be glad you're not having to hunt all these things down on cooking day. And let me give you permission now to just buy your appetizers from the store. You know who makes a great dip? Aldi. Whether it's spinach artichoke dip or hummus, every dip they make is fantastic. They also have a really good cheese selection. I tell you all of this to say nobody's going to care where those appetizers came from. Grocery stores know that you want to outsource the appetizers anyway, and they're happy to provide it for you. Whether it's a ready-made veggie tray or charcuterie or even little bowls of nuts sitting around, people will not scrutinize your appetizers. They're just going to be glad there's something to nibble on before the big meal is ready. Also, decide where everybody's going to sit. You don't have to assign seats, just make sure everybody has a chair. And if you need to, designate a kids' table and an adults' table. Put someone in charge of the playlist. Every family or friend group has that one person who's really good at music. Ask that person to curate a playlist that's perfect for a gathering, something your mom and a little one could listen to. Print out some conversation starters. Y'all, I'm the biggest fan of this. It's one of my favorite things that we always do at Thanksgiving. We do conversation starters from a little bowl, and it's the most fun way to break the ice and get the memories flowing. Just Google conversation starters, and I'm sure you'll find a list you love. Keep takeout containers on hand for leftovers. I say this all the time, but you will thank yourself later for this, I promise. I ordered a giant package of small aluminum pans, and they're like half the size of a 9x13, whatever that is. And I always have them in my pantry for leftovers when people come to visit or Thanksgiving or whatever. It's perfect. Just get some. Then, on the big day, make sure everyone knows what time you plan for folks to arrive and what time you plan to serve the meal. Some people like to sit and mingle and watch football. Others like to have the meal right when folks arrive. Whatever you're planning, just make sure everybody knows. Put your appetizers out before guests begin to arrive. This is when that pre-cut veggie tray, charcuterie, or nuts come in handy. Let guests serve their own drinks. It's one less thing off your plate. You can place a roll of masking tape and a Sharpie by the cups so people can label their drinks, even if you aren't using disposable cups. It may not look fancy, but it works. If there's idle time, leave out some games, whether it's football on the TV or in the backyard or board games or video games. Make sure there's things to do for folks who aren't working in the kitchen. If you need some ideas, we did a whole episode on this back in episode 45 called Movies and Games That Bring Family Together. It's a good one. Go check it out. And lastly, don't sweat it. Seriously, I know you want to make sure everything comes out flawlessly, but the one thing that matters is that people have plenty to eat and that your Uncle Gary avoids talking about hot button issues at all costs. But even if Uncle Gary can't help himself, there's always that dessert table to look forward to. So there you go, you guys. I hope these ideas help jog your hosting memory and help you remember something you want to do for your holiday. But what if you have guests who don't leave once the dishes are washed? How do you accommodate overnight guests? Tis the season to save where you can. That means canceling subscriptions you aren't using and lowering your monthly bills where you can. And do you know who makes that super easy? Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. A couple months ago, I wanted to trim some unnecessary expenses out of our budget, so I tried Rocket Money's cancellation concierge. And guys, when I tell you that this is the easiest money I've ever made, I'm serious, because they saved my family $672 off of our Verizon bill for the next year. All I had to do was log into my Rocket Money account, and Rocket Money said, "We think we can lower this bill for you." And I said, "Okay, please do that." A couple days later, my concierge came back and said they saved me $672. And all I had to do was click a few buttons. I'm not joking. It was pure magic. And with over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers on average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/simplified. That's rocketmoney.com/simplified. rocketmoney.com/simplified. Even if you've hosted overnight guests a million times, I always like to hear what other people do to make others feel comfy and cozy. So here are my go-to items to check off my to-do list. Make sure the Wi-Fi login is easily accessible. This is guest hosting 101. I have seen people get a cross stitch of this on Etsy to make it cute but functional. Also, make sure guests have a place to put used towels. Bonus if you have a basket for their laundry as well. And make sure they have the necessities for their bedside table. Device chargers, water bottles, tissues, lip balm, eye mask, paper, pen, etc. Everything you keep on yours, put in theirs. Keep a basket of toiletries just for guests. If you're like me, I bet you can think of the places you've stayed that have had the best toiletries. This is a small way to delight guests. You don't have to get fancy, just think about the things they might need while they stay with you. Shampoo and conditioner, body wash, maybe even keep disposable razors and toothbrushes, keep contact solution and cases on hand along with menstrual care, even some basic first aid items like Band-Aids, Neosporin, rubbing alcohol peroxide, maybe even some pain relievers and allergy meds would be helpful. Wait a minute, am I telling you to stock a whole CVS for your guests? I mean, maybe, but listen, on the bright side, you'll have this stuff on hand if you ever need it to. Have plenty of blankets on hand. You can never have too many blankets, of course, but definitely stock some heavier blankets for cooler times of the year. You know what also helps? Having heated blankets in each room. That way, if a guest just runs cooler, they'll be guaranteed to be warm. Honestly, y'all, hosting people is a piece of cake. One rule of thumb for overnight guests is this. Think about what you need when you walk into a hotel room. And make sure your guests have easy access to those things. I mean, they probably don't need an ice bucket, but nobody is ever going to say no to some minibar snacks. As we close out this episode, I'd like to say a little blessing for you as we get back to our days. In this season of gathering, I hope you spend some time with the people you hold dear and celebrate the truths and love that bind you together. In this season of giving, I hope you receive the joy of being known and remind the ones around you how much they are seen and loved for who they are. And in this season of hope, I hope you remember the love we have for each other and what a privilege it is to share it. As always, I like to leave a little tip to help you put what we've talked about today into practice. So here's your task for this week. If your guest sleeping situation is less than ideal, maybe your mattress isn't the most comfy, or you're afraid they're going to toss and turn on your sleeper sofa, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Sometimes a memory foam mattress topper can be a game changer. I'm serious, just a couple inches of memory foam can transform a rickety sleeper sofa into something your guests won't mind sleeping on, even if their joints aren't what they used to be. You don't have to break the bank to get something good. Right now, you can find a really great, highly rated topper for about $40 over on Amazon. And if you're going to be a guest at your parents' house and their bed isn't that comfy, you can always ship a topper to their house and offer to keep it on the bed. Just saying. Thank you for listening to the Simplified podcast. You can find show notes for this episode at emilylay.com/podcast, where you can check out links and resources I mentioned here, and you can shop the Simplified brand of planners and products. You can follow me on Instagram at Emily Lay and our brand at Simplified. And now you can also follow my writing over at emilylay.substack.com. You can also get my brand new book, Near in the Night, at your favorite book retailer today. That's all I've got for you today. Tune in next week for more ideas to simplify your season this year. And spoiler alert, we're going to talk about gifts. It's a good one, so be on the lookout. Till next time, thanks for listening. Bye.